Hello everyone, this is Yuri the Blender Magus, and welcome back to creating Anubis. So, in this part, we're going to be adding more of the basic detail to the character. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some more detail to the hands and the face today. So, let's get started. So, we're going to go back to our layout, and you see we have our body selected. We want to select our hands this time and then go back to sculpting. So now that our hands are the ones selected, we want to re-enable dynamic topology and make sure that our size is still at 8. So now we're just going to get started sculpting the details on the hand. Now, there's really not a whole heck of a lot to really be said, other than, just making sure that when you're sculpting, the big thing is to start with the general details first and then work your way up to the little ones. So if you find yourself making like veins and stuff like that, or wrinkles at this stage of the process, probably rethink that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I'm going to select a vertex on this hand here, and I'm just going to hit period on my number pad to center that. So now I'm centered in the camera view. I'm going to re-enable dynamic topology, and so now our rotation is centered around the hand, so we can continue. So yeah, this is a good time to flesh out some of the details of the palm. A good way to get a good shape of the hand is to actually look at your own hands. That's a real good way to determine what kind of details you should be worrying about in the beginning stages. So just really, sculpt at your own pace and try to get as much of the basic shapes as you can. And I'm going to see you guys after we're done with the base details. One thing we're going to do is we're going to change the detail size from 8 to 5. This will enable us to sculpt on our mesh from a bit of a ways away, and I want to do that for the fingers just so that I can better get a sense of where the individual ligaments for the finger Alright, so we have finished laying out the main details for the hand. So now I'm going to go back to the layout view. So now that we're in layout view, I am going to, with our hand mesh selected here, and make sure that the hand intersects with the bottom of the wrist there. And we're going to select the hand, shift select the body here. And then we're going to go to the modifier stack and look for the Boolean modifier. Here we go. So I should have applied that. So we're going to click this eyedropper tool and select the hand there. And we're going to click Union. Alright, so you see now that our meshes are connected. Then we're going to hit apply. And now when I tab into edit mode and I select one point of the hand and then hit Control L, I select the entire mesh because we have joined those two objects. So let's go back into the sculpting view and turn back on dynamic topology. And you can see that now when I start sculpting over the hand area, I'm adding more detail to those to that part of the mesh that's joined together. And so when I sculpt on it and smooth it out, you see it clearly becomes part of the distinct form. So the most clear place you can see where the wrist bone comes out of is actually on this side of the hand. So let's get the blob tool, or the blob brush rather, and hover over this area and just click a couple of times. There we go. And don't worry about it being too big, because you can see a lot of these features are already, a little exaggerated. And again, that's for stylistic purposes. Again, if you want yours to be fully anatomically correct, you can go on ahead and do that. But I like my characters to look a certain way, and so I'm going to sculpt them to look that way. So we're gonna come in here, fill that in a little bit. We can probably take some of the detail away from that part. Smooth it out a bit. Okay, so we have our hand attached. Now we are going to begin doing the same thing with the face. So again, there's really not a whole lot to really talk about as far as getting the details laid out, but I will get started here, at least just so that you can hear me go through the steps again in case you have forgotten from the last time. So we're going to go back to layout mode, and we're going to move up here and right click on the head. Then we're going to go back to sculpting. We're going to check dynamic topology. So now that we are sculpting the head, what we're going to do first is lay out the general details of the eyes here. So again, what we did for the hands, we're going to tab into edit mode, select all the vertices on the face, and then hit period on the number pad to center our view. We're going to go back into sculpt mode and make sure you check dynamic topology, and I'm just going to start making landmarks for things like the eyes and such. I'm also going to add some more space into certain areas. So what I mean by add more space, I'm going to take this front part here and I'm just gonna move it out so that there's more room for the head details. So just gonna move it up and out like so. This part as well, just want to move it as much as we can here. Then you can even move some of this inward. Okay, and then you can move some of that as well, and you can, if you kind of think about it almost like a human skull, it'll make sense. The different placement of, or the different things that I'm doing here, making the cheeks and all that, or at least the landmarks for it. Okay, so now we're gonna come in here with the clay strips, and we're just going to carve some of this area away. And so I'm holding control to invert the function of the brush from add to subtract, holding shift to smooth out some of those vertices, and we're just going to start getting the landmarks here for the face. Now we're just adding these parts here, you know, just to put some more geometry up on the bridge of the nose, but those types of marks usually don't appear on dogs unless they're angry, so we're not gonna keep those permanently on the sculpt. They were just there to help us lay some things out. Oh, sorry about that. Let's go back to there. There we go. And we're just going to make a bigger hole here for the eyes. Okay, and then we'll put some eyeballs in here and round out that shape a bit more, but that's a good placeholder. Okay, so let's go here, and we definitely need to add some more bone up here. Working on a little bit of the jaw here. Okay. And we're going to extend that outward like this. Alright, we're gonna switch to the grab tool just to help us reshape some of these areas here. Add a little bit more of a taper to that. Okay. So in order to not ruin the surface or inner surface of the mouth, what we're going to do is we're going to turn on front faces only. You can find that under your options menu underneath all of your brush settings. So now that we have that, I'm going to go back to clay strips, and again we're just kind of working the base details in on our mesh here. So I'm going to again time lapse through this so that you know, you're not sitting here for ages. And I will get back to you when the details of the face are, or the main, you know, landmarks of the face are fully mapped out. So see you then.
What we do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
Alright, so we have now sculpted the main details of every part of the body. The last step that we need to perform is to attach the head mesh to the body mesh so that we can come back later and do the final details. So let's go back to our layout view and let's go to select our body mesh here. We'll go to add modifier and boolean. Get our little eyedropper tool here, click this head mesh and click union, and then apply that. So now this mesh is the same mesh, and then go back to sculpting, and then what you're going to want to do is get one of your clay brushes. Actually, let's just get the regular clay brush and just zoom in real quick. Make sure you turn on dynamic topology so that your geometry builds on top of itself, and just sculpt away that seam right there. And now our mesh is fully unified. Okay, so in the next part we will come back and we'll fix up some of the issues that we have with different parts of the mesh, and we'll finalize some of these details here, but we just wanted to get everything generally mapped out first before we went ahead and did anything else. So that will be a good spot to close out today's video. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for more Blender tutorials, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good one.